There are three parts to a speech: an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The first part of the introduction is an attention getter or open with impact. This is a rhetorical question, a quote, sometimes humor, a joke, that gets the audience attention. The reason we do this is because if we don't get their attention, they're not going to listen to our speech. The second part of the introduction is the thesis statement. This includes the specific purpose statement, and it explains the topic and the purpose of our speech. The reason we have a thesis statement, for one, when we research anything that we find that doesn't specifically have to do with the thesis statement, we can discard. And it also, like I said, lets the audience know our purpose. This third part is the reason to listen. There are two different poles of a speech audience. There's the know-a-littles and the know-a-lots. And if we give them a reason to listen, they're going to pay attention to our speech. The third part is ethos statement or credibility. This is where we disclose some of our sources or some of our own personal credibility about maybe our jobs or where we've been in our life. The next part is the preview of main points. This previews the main points that we'll be going over in the body of our speech, so our audience knows where we are going. That is why we preview the main points. The next part is the body. The first part of the body is the main points. These are short sentences that usually you have to have at least two, most of the time three, up to five, sometimes even 7 main points, but that's a little overkill. Why we use main points is to use as evidence to support our thesis. The next part of the body are the subpoints. You have to have at least 2 subpoints for every main point. These can be visual aids, graphs, statistics, quotes. They support our main points, which in turn supports our thesis. The next part of the body are the transitions between the main points. For example, after ending a main point, you say, now that we talked about this, now we're going to talk about that. We use transitions to make the speech more fluid so the audience knows where we were and where we're going next. The next part is the conclusion. The first part of the conclusion is summarizing all the main points. This is summarizing not the subpoints, but the 3 main points of the body. Why we do this is to reiterate to the audience the points we're trying to make. The next part is restating our thesis. This is restating the same thesis that we've had for the whole speech that we did first in the introduction. We restate the thesis so the audience knows what our purpose is. The next part of the conclusion is the call to action. We only have a call to action if we're doing a persuasive speech. This is trying to get the audience to do something. And why we do this is essentially like closing the sale to get them to do what we want them to do, whether it be donating money or getting them from being a non-believer to a believer in our idea or our thesis. The next part is signaling the close. This lets the audience know that the speech is about to end, because no one likes speeches and they like to know that they're going to end soon. and then the last part is a memorable quote. We use memorable quotes to appeal to the audience's pathos, to strike empathy in them for maybe a certain idea that we're trying to get across.